I think the average Nigerian is still very driven and a go-getter. So we thought, you know what, let's use artificial intelligence, this thing that we're talking about, to actually find the best of the best people. Because again, we studied abroad, I've studied abroad like many Nigerians, and we know that there's hardly any top academic institution that you visit in the world that you don't find in Nigeria, which means they're somewhere. And there's hardly any top technology company that you visit in the world that you don't find in Nigeria. So we went back. So we started thinking about it. Okay, let's start with the academics. We know how to find those ones because they judge their work by publications, right? That's how they judge their work. So we downloaded, I believe, all artificial intelligence publications for the last 10, 15 years, Dr. Adela. And we decided, what if we use there's a name library for Nigerian names, right? If we could use that library to figure out from that list of publications, the authors with names that are close to Nigerian names. Of course, it came back, the level of accuracy I think was about 98%, which was quite strong. And we decided we were going to use crowdsourcing to verify. But while we were doing that, we also knew that it's not enough to actually bring people from the academia to engage them when you're talking about a strategy, that you also need to speak to people in the industry. But unfortunately for us, there's no standard like publication that you can use to find practitioners. But the crowdsourcing paid off, because the moment we put the list out there, people actually started saying, yes, that's my professor, yes, I know this person. So the validation was coming. But the biggest criticism was the fact that, do you think it's only academia that actually can support AI in any nation? So people then started having practitioners to the list. And we fast forwarded, we decided, you know what, we will bring this. So we did a publication on that. One of the things I've done as a minister is actually to use white paper. I think I deserve a round of applause for that. Because I think in my adult years, I've not seen many ministers in Africa use white paper, but it's something from my, life. I finished my PhD just shortly before being appointed, so it's still fresh for me to behave as if I'm still within the university setting. So we've been using white papers a lot. So we did a white paper on the methodology, we released it out there. Then all of a sudden from the white paper, we started getting a lot of invites from all over the world to actually participate in artificial intelligence conversation. And we've been to so many places, and you see people talk about these amazing phenomena, but the conversation ends at funding. Because the notion is that if you don't have significant and deep pockets, that there's absolutely nothing you can do with artificial intelligence. And I think Professor Adams mentioned it when you were on stage as well, that it's not just about the money. Government can't fund these alone. But we thought, you know what, we will use our strength as a nation to actually find a way to chart a path for the country. And we said we're going to bring about 120 of these people to Abuja. We didn't stop there. We started using some of them as reviewers, because in the process we launched a research funding scheme for AI, where we selected 45, and some of the people in the room, I believe, were part of those who reviewed the proposals and helped us to do the selection. But we thought we'd bring 120 people. We'll select these people from some of those folks that we've identified, we select locally. But of course, you have to pay for these people to come. One, how are you even sure that these people will leave whatever they're doing and come to Nigeria? So we decided the best time to do it is during the Easter holiday. Yeah, for the professors in the room, this is probably the unified time in the year that most academics are free. And Easter holiday is also one of those holidays that you find in nearly almost all the countries in the world. But unfortunately, our funding didn't come through, so we couldn't. So we had to push this by a week or two. But the truth is that we then gathered everyone within the ministry. So if you're representing any agency, I can see the DG. I think the DG is come forward as well. Let's stand for it. If you represent any of the agencies in government, please come forward. Anyone from NCC in the room? NCC, please come forward. We need a representative here. Data Protection Commission, Galaxy Backbone. Then we decided what we were going to do was to pool resources internally to actually make this happen, because we just felt it's got to happen. We don't think money was going to be the barrier and the block for it. But unfortunately for us, I think a week after taking the decision, a policy came out of the government that all trips are suspended, which means we can't use Nigerian government money to buy tickets. had to reach out. So I'll talk about them later. And they decided to back this initiative. Where I'm going for this first part of my speech is that everyone in the room today, you're unaware of what you've done. Not only did you stand behind each and every one of us to help make a strong case and build the future of Nigeria, collectively, we've actually made history. Well, and you may be wondering how have we made history? The conversation, the topic, everything we've been discussing here at the minute globally is structured around how much money you have as a people and as a nation. Countries without significant deep pockets are not expected to have a voice when it comes to artificial intelligence. And that's what I thought what Professor Adams said is extremely profound. And I said it at the beginning as well, that where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. And what we've all done is to collectively say, money shouldn't be the barrier to including people, regardless of where they come from. Because as the world today, we're extremely way more connected than ever before. Whether we are developed or not, whether we're rich or not, decisions being taken in faraway countries will have significant implications for our people. That's the reality. Artificial intelligence is going to have the same implication for a young person in 2-3 years' time in Sokoto, in Abeokuta, as it will be for a young person in Nairobi or in California or in Beijing. So as a world, I think the best way for us to show leadership is to understand that coming together, we must actually protect the world that we all are part of. And there's no notion that the direction the world should go should be determined by those with the deepest of pockets. We've seen that this technology has significant implications for every one of us, regardless of your color, race, beliefs, every one of us. And this is why today we want to, again, appreciate everyone in the room. We're deeply, deeply grateful for you believing that this is what you are, for you taking out the time to travel from far and wide, both local, international, to join us in Abuja for these 4 days. And I have to be honest with you, I have a very simple way of judging whether an event is good or not. Typically, most events will start big. We all know that, depending on the country. In some countries, if you start on time, it will start light, because people will come late. Then it will become big, and towards the end, it becomes sleep. But looking at the room today and comparing it to the first day, I see a room that is bigger today than it was. And I also think most of the time, we all have dreams, and I've seen this in many cases. We all have dreams, and oftentimes we don't talk enough about the fact that you may have lofty goals, you may believe in yourself and your ability to be able to pull it through. But you always need people, giants, partners, people who are extremely understanding that you can actually stand on their shoulders. Like I mentioned earlier, you're going to stand for a bit. Like I mentioned earlier, we thought, you know what, we're not a poor country, we can actually get this done. So we started looking for budget from different places. Then a simple policy came that distorted our plan. But some special people popped up and gave us the belief and the confidence to actually go on with this dream. And that's why we're here today. So I'd like to appreciate Ms. Tony from Luminate. I hope let's see Ms. Tony for somewhere in the room. She disappeared. We'll see her later tonight. But also, I think most especially, Meta. We're so grateful for your support. I think you should stand up and probably come forward as well. And Adewolu from Google. I know Google is in the room. Microsoft as well. Please come to the front on this journey together. UNDP, do you have a representative of UNDP in the room? Anyone? UNESCO? None? I think most of them have been participating already. Without these folks, our dream would have ended up as a dream, unfortunately, because, we'll make this room available, but probably not in some ways as well. But it would have been almost impossible to fly everyone in the room into this space today. But thanks to their support, they turned up for us. I won't say that they lose out, because they understand the power of what we're here to do today. They understand the significance of this technology. And they understand that a nation the size of Nigeria cannot and should not ignore artificial intelligence. And we must find a way to actually make it work for ourselves. So many things happened that could have stopped this. There were meetings, even meetings a day before the start of this event, by principalities and powers who tried to stop it from happening. But, when you set out to do something really good, I think there will always be a way. When that will is there will always be a way. And I want to appreciate our partners for supporting us. But one thing we all don't know, I think we can go sit down if you want to. One thing we all don't know, and people are probably thinking about, is the fact that yes, so we've been here, now we're all going back. This strategy is not even currently fully complete. It's still going to be released to the public to give feedback. We're still going to fine-tune it. But as many smart and wise people will say, right? It's not enough to have a strategy. It's just a paper. And they'll say, so how are you going to execute on it? And this is where I got my clarity from. And I'm not going to let the good news out just yet, because I'm hoping each and every one of you will turn up at the dinner later tonight, where we have about 4 significant announcements to make with some of our partners, because we do have things in place that will ensure that the moment you step out of Abuja tomorrow or tonight, this is not going to stop. This is actually whether it's on resources to back some of the things that you've talked about so you can see immediate action, or whether it's conversations around infrastructure that can actually power our dream, or how do we even develop talent to truly show what is possible from within Nigeria. Please don't miss the dinner later tonight, because that's really where the inspiration is. You've done all this hard work. You want to be clear on where we're taking it next. And that's why I think you should be here as well. And I know one thing we've done here a lot is to talk about Nigerian Avengers. That was the methodology. The methodology was to bring the best of Nigerians together. But we have a significant number of non-Nigerians in the room who are here for so many reasons, and I think we should give them a round of applause. And the reason why I think it's important is that I'm not actually a believer in creating things in silo. I'm nationalistic, but I also believe that we live in a world that is extremely connected today. And more than ever before, as we think local, we also have to be thinking global as well. And I think Nigeria and each one of us in this room, we have a lesson to teach the world. What we've done here is not simple. Forget the fact that it's in this room, where we are and all of that. There are only a few countries in the world that can boast of the methodology through which they develop their artificial intelligence strategy to be this inclusive. Only a few countries in the world. Only a few. So what we've done here is groundbreaking. For the researchers in the room, I think we should actually write about it. Social scientists should write about this experiment so that we can also teach the world something. But I also think our boldness should inspire more boldness across Africa. It shouldn't just be about Nigeria. We have to inspire our brothers and sisters all over the continent that Africa can actually be part of the artificial intelligence conversation. And not only be part of it to just protect ourselves, we can be part of it to give leadership, and we can be part of it to shape it the way it should be for humanity. That's my belief. And I said it at the beginning, that if you look carefully, for those who are following the development, conversations around artificial intelligence is diverging at the minute. Countries are being extremely protective But the reality is that it's a technology that is going to be common to each and every one of us. So we will need to converge. And we in Africa should start from a place of convergence, not a place of divergence. But we should do it in such a way that individual strengths as countries can actually come through strongly as well. Which is why I'm a big believer that Africa should have an African AI Council. But at the same time, I'm a big believer that each country should go this route as well. Because when you go this path, it will help you discover yourself, discover the things that are important to you. Then you can bring that beauty to the table within the Africa AI Council to help shape how, as a collective, how, as a people, we can move this forward. I thank you all so very much once again, and I'd like to do one last thing. For everyone that has been part of putting this together, the organizing committee, do we have all of them in the room? Organizing committee, can you please come to the front? Organizing committee members. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, don't be shy. Even though they don't have a contract yet. Yeah, I'm not talking about this, but these are government people. The facilitators, they are now part of our team. So Data Science Nigeria, everyone from Data Science, Lagos Business School. If there's anything we all take away, that when like-minded people truly come together to shape the direction of something, there's nothing you cannot do. They've not been paid to do this work, just to let you know. They've not been paid. Professor Yinka, David West, Dr. Bayo, and they can be both of them, over the last 3 to 4 weeks, they've worked really hard to make this happen. Really, really hard. You won't understand. We've been trying to do this since December last year, but for one reason or the other, but we have to say to ourselves, it has to be done. And because of that, a lot of people were pulled in to make this happen. And that's why calling them to the front to appreciate their work is extremely important. In a culture, in a setting where things are done through contract, for people to go out of their way to actually get things done. Dr. Bayo was talking about people exchanging messages at 2, 3 p.m. That's not enough. Yeah, that's not enough. So we've decided to actually take this upon ourselves to get it done. So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for everything you've done. And I know this is just the beginning. We're taking our country to somewhere special. And together I believe that we can get it there. Thank you so much. And I think if there's anyone in the room that I've not mentioned, I just want to again recognize your support, recognize your participation. We appreciate you. I will have the mic again later in the day at the dinner. I'm not going to be speaking for this long there, but we'll probably say a few more things. Make sure you turn up for dinner. See you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Shall we rise for the national anthem as we close?